Shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and shalom to you, hopefully elect, and just through the Spirit. I was watching a video by the elder Yeshawamba. I forgot which video exactly that it was, but he mentioned something along the lines of how going into how when you make a covenant and pretty much or any type of agreement or alliance, or pledge, there was always there was that requirement of blood that had to be made, and it immediately sparked, through the Spirit, because, when it comes to 2/3 and how they are about to make this covenant, this agreement with Esau Edom, because pretty much 2/3 they're already sold out. All right, they're already given in to the image of the beast. They're already given over, and it's just a matter of, so to say, the cherry on top to seal the deal, which is going to come in the form of that MOTB, which again, this is what sparked me, just through the Spirit, because should more show you that when it comes to the MOTB, it's not a spiritual thing, it's a carnal thing, because Esau, he's a carnal man. All right. This is going to be a physical implementation. All right. And with that, again, going back to how, like I was just mentioning, when it comes to any type of agreement or covenant, there's always blood required. Now, granted, well, and I can't even say that, because when it comes to that MOTB, there's not going to be like a whole lot of it's not going to be like some scene out of a horror movie where it's just a lot of blood and whatever the case may be. But and I say, because I said, now granted, but I take that back, because even when it comes to a lot of these celebrities and athletes and Hollywood stars and so on and so forth, what they had to do to, what they had to sacrifice, I'll say, to get to a certain point of so-called success, and like I said, the sacrifice, all right, and I'm gonna just leave it at that, because again, any type of covenant, any type of agreement, it requires blood, so like I said, I'll just leave it at that, as far as these celebrities and athletes and whatnot, and what they have to, well, I'll say who they have to sacrifice to, like I said, maintain some type of success, but nevertheless, like I said, just through the Spirit, because the elder Yeshua, he made that statement, and immediately it sparked my spirit. It sparked something in my spirit. So again, just through the Spirit, I'm gonna read this real quick in Exodus chapter 23. As a matter of fact, before I get this. Yeah, before I get this. Matter of fact, is it in this one? So yeah, before I get that, I'm gonna get this. Matter of fact, Slocking. I'm gonna go back to Exodus 23. Exodus 23, and I'm gonna read this real quick. In verse 32, thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor with their gods. All right, talking about these other heathens. All right, we're not supposed to make any of these, covenants or agreements with them. Point blank, period. You see, and that's exactly what, when it comes to 2/3, like I said, they're already sold out. They're already given over to the image of the beast. All right, they're already fashioning themselves, after this image, the likeness of this beast. They're already given over. It's just when it comes down to that MOTB, that's just going to be the deal sealer. The MOTB is just going to be the deal sealer, So they're already given over, spiritually, so to say. Well, to further prove their allegiance, like I said, or Salakia, I'll say to solidify their allegiance, that MOTB, that's what's going to do it. All right. But again, in Exodus 23 and 32, thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor with their God. So again, we're not supposed to be making any type of agreements, these covenants, agreements, these pledges with these other nations. All right. So with that being said, Exodus 24, start at 1. And he said unto Moses, come up unto the Lord, thou and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel, and worship ye afar off. And Moses alone shall come near the Lord, but they shall not come nigh, neither shall the people go up with him. And there might be a spirit of vengeance out here, because this is what appears to be a pit bull, man. Just oh, that's a cat. Damn, that's a big ass cat. I thought it was a pit bull. That's a big ass cat. I thought it was like a baby pit bull, but that's a big ass cat. But someone's about to get judged. Because the way that joker was standing, you know how pit bulls, they get that stance, that little bow-legged stance with the ears up, and looking all muscular and tough, right? Well, this joker looked like a baby pit bull, but it's a damn cat. But nevertheless, verse 3 says, and Moses came and told the people all the words of the Lord, and all the judges and all the people answered with one voice and said, all the words which the Lord hath said we will do. Right? Going back to this covenant, right? Okay. And when you go on to read on, I'll just jump down to verse 16. Verse 6. Because again, when you make particular of these covenants and agreements and whatnot, there's blood was required. Going back to the point that the elder Joshua he was making, how important the blood was when it comes down to these covenants. Making these covenants, blood was required, and it was important, especially in the Old Testament, right? So verse 6, it says, and Moses took half of the blood and put it on basins, and half of the blood he sprinkled on the altar. And he took the book of the covenant and read it in the audience of the people, and they said, all that the Lord hath said we will do, and be obedient. Right? So when you go into this covenant, this word covenant, what is that? Barayath, Barayatha. So Barayath, right? And when you read the definitions, again, it's going to go into allegiance, pledge, you know, alliance, right? But the point that I want to get, because it says right here, when you go to the etymology, right, the root word of the etymology, it says in the sense of cutting, right? In the sense of cutting. And let's just go through this real quick. In H1262, right? Just see what that says real quick. Or what is that? Baraha. So Baraya, if I'm not mistaken. It says to eat, to consume. Go to the Strong's definitions real quick. So I'm gonna go to because it says from H1262, and then it says in the sense of cutting, like, what is that? Baraha, if I'm not mistaken, which is H1254, right? It says to create, shape, form, fashion, and like I said, because 2/3 they're already transformed into the image of the beast. They're already given over. While Lord, one of those of us on the right hand, we are being transformed in the image of Yahweh Shemel Shai, right? We are being likened unto the image of Yahweh Shemel Shai. Well, 2/3 they're likened unto the image of this beast. They're already given over. The physical part is just gonna come when they have to actually, so to say, draw blood. You see, because again, it's a physical thing that's going to take place. A literal cutting of the flesh, cutting into the flesh. You see, because again, when you go into a covenant, all right, blood, is required. Blood has to be drawn, so to say. You see, blood has to be drawn. So again, man, just real quick, don't intend on this being long, because as I just read, in Exodus 23, we're not supposed to make any type of covenant with the heathen. All right, but 2/3, that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to make a pact, an agreement, an alliance. All right, and they're going to, so to say, draw that blood, right? Because as I just read, here with the covenant, and as I just read into, the root word, it goes into in the sense of cutting, right? Cutting of what? Cutting in the flesh. Again, as I just read into the definition, right? As of meat, like when you're cutting into the flesh of meat, in the sense of cutting, as if you're cutting meat, cutting flesh, right? Well, go to Isaiah 28. Isaiah 28 starting at verse Isaiah 28, starting at 15. Because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death, and with hell are we in agreement. Because you see, these lower elites, right? And specifically with those that so-called made it within our communities, right? The LeBron Jameses, the Jay-Z's, the Lil Waynes and them, you know, because they made this agreement. Because again, that's why I said I'll just, you know, just with the sacrifices, or who they've had to sacrifice. Because again, a part of a covenant, you have to give blood. Blood has to be drawn. So that's why I said earlier, I'll just leave it at that. You know, because, hey, when you read on, it says, when the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us. Because that's what Esau basically promises these lower elites, these lesser illuminarians, right? That they're going to be all right. As long as they continue to push these certain agendas and basically do what they're told, be good old slaves, right? Then, you know, because we see it all the time. The minute they, you know, these so-called actors and rappers and whatnot, as soon as they get out of line, hey, we might not hear from them from a while. They get offed, right? Or they just go AWOL, whatever the case may be, right? Or, you know, they go from billionaires to millionaires overnight, like Kanye, right? You know, the minute they, you know, step out of line and go, you know, you see, because again, they're under that agreement, they're under that covenant, and you know, they gotta be good old little boys and little girls for good old massa, you know. So, but basically, they're promised leeway. They promised a safe passage. You know, they promised that, hey, you know, when shit hits the fan, then they're going to be all right, right? You know, because real soon, and the Apostle Tahar said it, real soon, you know, and we saw the small glimpse of this when it came to the that jab, that's Capri Sun. You know, you saw a lot of familiar faces within our communities, right? Promoting it, doing rap songs and, you know, commercials, promoting our people to get that thing. That was a small example of what we're going to start seeing when that MOTB starts coming around, because eventually, you know, these Lil Waynes and them, the Beyoncés and them, they're going to have to take that MOTB themselves. It's going to be more than just them promoting it. No, they're going to have to take it themselves if they want to secure that bag, so-called secure it. Because that's the thing. Esau, he promises them leeway. He promises them a safe passage, that they're going to be all right. But nah, man. When you read on, it says, when the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us. For we have made lies our refuge, and under falsehood have we hid ourselves. Right? So they think they're going to be all right. Because when 2/3 take that MOTB, yeah, you might escape Esau's judgment. You might escape Esau's judgment. Because Esau, again, this, you know, he's just a straight up devil. He just, you know, you might take the MOTB and still, hey, go to Esau like, well, hey, you know, I did what you said. When Esau, he gonna he still might look at you like, man, I can't do nothing for you, you know. And hey, you're gonna be a monkey stock, man. You know, those that take that thing with consent, pursuing the second Ezra 16, roughly paraphrasing, hey, you're gonna be in derision. You're gonna be a laughing stock, because like, again, you're gonna take that thing thinking that you're gonna be all right. But Esau, he's still gonna just, you know, hey, ain't nothing I can do for you. You know, Jake gonna be like out here like, damn, you know. But hey, it is what it is. Because even if you escape Esau's judgment, you're not gonna escape a judgment from the Lord's judgment, right? That's why our reading on it says, therefore, thus saith the Lord, power. Behold, I lay in Zion for a foundation, a stone, a tri-stone, a precious cornerstone, a sure foundation. He that believeth shall not make haste. Because that's going to be the thing, man. You know, when it's all said and done, man, a lot of people are, because they have no foundation in Yahweh Shem, the chief cornerstone, people are going to be out here making decisions out of haste, out of fear, you know, out of their emotions, you know, not thinking logically, right? Because that's what the hopefully elect, we're being trained to, trust in our foundation, All right, our chief cornerstone, the chief cornerstone, Yahweh Shema Shai. Right, so when it is all said and done today, you know, the elect are not going to fold, man. All right, because you're going to have Jake take that thing knowing that it is what it is. Because at this point, I mean, let's just be honest. Pretty much everyone is watching the Apostles of Great Millstone and bishops and elders. All right, everyone's watching them. You know, so at this point, man, you know, I'll just say, man, hey, everyone pretty much knows what the MOTB is. You know, and a lot of people are going to take that thing knowing what it is, but because they don't have a foundation, their foundation is not in Yahweh Shema Shai, right? Well, hey, they're still going to take it, knowing that they're going to take it, knowing that, you know, it's off, it's against Yahweh Shema Shai, knowing that it's the Revelation 13 and 16 and 17, right? They're going to take it knowingly, willingly, you know, in haste, right? But verse 17, it says, judgment also will I lay to the line, and righteousness to the plummet, and the hail shall sweep away the refuge of lies, and the waster shall overflow the hiding place. And your covenant with death shall be disannulled, and your agreement with hell shall not stand. When the overflowing score shall pass through, then ye shall be trodden down by it. All right, because like I said, you might prolong your life a little longer. You might escape Esau's. Again, you might escape Esau's judgment, but when it comes to the Lord's judgment, you know, you're not getting away. You might prolong your life a little longer. You might get a few extra meals or whatever. You know, a little, you know, a few extra comfort, perks, gimmicks, or whatever. You know, you might get it just a little longer, but ultimately you're not going to escape the Lord's judgment. But the point that I want to get, again, going back to this covenant, because a lot of, you know, the covenants, these agreements, these alliances, they require blood, right? So going to this word covenant, right? The same words that you know, the precepts that I've been bringing out, right? Ba-ra-ya-tha. So ba-ra-yath. Again, the same word, same definitions, right? Like it says here again, the root word, the etymology, right? In the sense of cutting. You see? And like I said, because, I mean, you could just, you know, in a sense, for people that take that MOTB, whether it be in the right hand, the left hand, the forehead, the left butt cheek, the right toe, whatever part of your body that you take it, you're cutting the flesh, cutting into the flesh, and that's going to draw blood. You know? So that's that covenant. All right? That pact, that alliance, that agreement that you're making with Esau Edom. Right? And as I read earlier, we're not supposed to make any type of covenant or agreement with these people. But, you know, hey, you see, man, because again, it is a physical thing, a physical implementation. And a lot of Jake, hey, 2/3, 66.6%, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. That's more than half of the nation of Israel, man. That's a lot of damn people. You know? You see, man, I'm going to get this real quick in Jeremiah, because again, just to further show the point that with any covenant agreement, blood was required. All right? And that was the point of, you know, just, you know, with the animals, right? Which, you know, Jacob used that system, you know. But nevertheless, Jeremiah 34:18, just get to the point. It says, and I will give the men that have transgressed my covenant, which have not performed the words of the covenant, which they made before me, when they cut the calf in twain, and passed between the parts thereof. So, you see, obviously, if you cut an animal in half, you know, and you know, walk between the parts, you know, that's blood. Because again, what they need, covenant agreement, hey, there's going to be blood is required. You see? And this is a part of what we did back then, you know, cutting the animal in half and walking in between the parts, because that's, you know, that's what's required. But through the precious blood of Yahushai, all right, we don't have to, you know, keep this, you know, we don't have to go through the whole process of the, you know, going through the sacrificial animal and whatnot, right? And through the precious blood of Yahushai, because again, blood is required. The elect are going to be covered. You got a lot of these fake and phony Christians that talk about the blood of Jesus, right? The blood of Jesus, man. Shut up, man. You know, inside joke. Man, shut that shit up. You know, because only the elect are going to be covered by the blood of Yahushai. All right. Wow. 2/3 of our people, man, they're going to pledge their allegiance, make this a covenant, make this agreement, make this pact alliance with Esau Edom, ultimately in the form of that MOTB. All right, a little cutting into the flesh, you know, which, like I said, when you cut into the flesh, it is going to draw blood. So that's the agreement that 2/3 they're going to make with Esau Edom. All right, you know, and it's heavy because, again, as I read earlier, and we all signed this contract. We all agreed to this covenant, to this agreement. We all did. The elect and 2/3 at that time, you know, they all did. So now that 2/3, now they're redacting and saying the hell with the Most High. All right, they basically want to try to cancel that contract and sign a new contract with Esau Edom. This is why the judgment is necessary. What's getting ready to happen is necessary. It has to happen. It has to take place. It's necessary. You see, and that's treason. You know, you can't do that. You can't do that, man. So, hey, it is what it is. You know, it is what it is. 2/3 are going to pledge their allegiance. They're going to, you know, draw blood and sign that contract. And, you know, make this agreement, make this covenant with Esau Edom through the cutting of the flesh. You know, cutting in the flesh. So, Lord wanted us to edify and call Allah, Shalom to you, hopefully.